Hey guys, my name is Mike, and welcome to your first standalone episode of Flying Solo. This week we're going to pick off where we left last. We're finishing off the normal mode 25-man achievements for Icecrown Citadel. We're going to be going from Blood Queen up to the Lich King. Hope you guys enjoy, and if you like the format of having this separately, please let me know in the comments section below. I want to keep Flying Solo going, so long as you guys are interested. But without further ado, I thought we should get into this. Right, so we're going to start off where we finished last week and do the other half of Blood Queen's achievement. Don't worry, this is the really easy part. Whereas last week we had to try to not get bitten. The whole idea behind this achievement is getting bitten. Once you get bitten, you will get a huge damage increase, and you also generate no threat, but that's not really a thing in soloing. If you fail to kill her within the time limit, you will get mind controlled though, and if you get mind controlled, then you lose the fight because you're on your own. To avoid this, it's fairly easy at level 100, but lower levels, I did struggle. Back when I soloed this on my Hunter and Mr. Panari, even on 10-man mode, I found I wasn't able to burst it down before the timer was up. So in that case, what I did was I had a tenacity pet which just tanked me and the boss and killed her. So if you're below level 100, you might have one with this, but otherwise it really is a simple burst. Okay, now we have the Healige boss. Now, to solo this boss and her achievement, you have to be a healing class. There's no other way around it. You don't have to do this boss, however, to progress throughout the raid. So if you don't have a healing class, you can just skip this boss, but you won't be able to get the meta achievement. To get the meta achievement, you have to heal her up to full whilst going into all of the portals. However, if you go into any portals, you will despawn the fight and it will bug out. So what you have to do is heal her to full before she spawns a single portal. That way you've technically been in all 0 portals that she spawned and you'll get the achievement. So yeah, fairly easy every healing class. If you're not, then it's probably going to be a problem for you. Next up we have Sindragosa. Sindragosa is one of those boring burst fights. Yep, not really much I can say about it. The whole idea is that you're meant to kill her before you get 5 stacks of magic buffet. But there's no real tactics towards it when you're soloing it. I believe when you were doing it in a group, you could hide behind people who are ice blocked in order to stop yourself getting buffet stacks, but it just doesn't work because you're on your own. So the whole idea is you have to burst it down before you get all 5 stacks. I believe I managed to do it getting 2 or 3 stacks in this. So it's not too bad. She's just a fairly tanky boss, and it takes about, I don't know, a minute maybe to burst her down. So you'll be able to do it without too big a deal if you're level 100. If you're lower level, this might be a problem and you might have to bring a friend. And I believe if you have a friend, then you can just keep trading aggro in order to reduce the stacks. Also, I believe being out of range of her for a while does that. So if there's 2 of you, one of you can tank it and the other can move out of range in order to reset their stacks. So hopefully that's a way of doing it, but at level 100, soloing this is really a simple matter of bursting her down, and yeah, not much more to say about her, to be honest. When it comes to bursting down, however, I do want to mention that the Plague Wing is all around just bursting guys down, so I'm actually going to add an annotation to the video now to let you just skip straight to Lich King, because these bosses are all about just bursting down and ignoring their mechanics. So yep, fair warning, but yeah. Now, Festergut fight is all around managing stacks of inoculation. You have to finish the fight without ever getting more than 2 stacks of inoculation, so never get 3 stacks of inoculation and you'll get your achievement. Inoculation is given to you whenever a spore explodes over your head. But at level 100, it's really going to be a matter of just burst him down. I know, it's boring to have these bursty fights. But so long as you don't end up getting 3 stacks of inoculation, which you really shouldn't do, it's a nice, easy fight. The inoculation thing was all around, it would reduce the amount of shadow damage you take, which is what the gas deals to you. So the whole idea is that you had to get it on your raid, otherwise you just take huge amounts of damage. But again, it's just rendered completely and utterly trivial by being level 100. And I think that's kind of a shame with these fights, is yeah, you can solo them and relive some of it, but you can never quite get the cool mechanics of it, just because they're totally irrelevant nowadays, and that's kind of a shame, I must say. Oh, and before you leave the room, don't forget to turn this pipe. Turning that pipe and its sister pipe over at Rotface will allow you to get access to Professor Putricide, so don't forget to do that, otherwise you'll be running around lost for a little while. Speaking of Rotface, here he is. So, Rotface's encounter is, again, a simple burst. The whole idea of his achievement is that you have to stop a giant ooze from spawning and exploding. However, the oozes only spawn when you dispel a certain debuff, which really you don't have to deal with as a level 100 or even a level 90. Like, it just doesn't deal enough damage to bother dispelling. So if you don't dispel it, then you never spawn any small slimes, and if you don't spawn small slimes, you can't actually get enough small slimes to meld together into a big slime, which can't explode, and then, you know, you get the achievement easily. So, yep, another simple burst them down. Don't dispel the debuff, because there's no point. It doesn't really do anything to you. And you'll get this achievement nice and easy. He is an ugly little fellow, though kind of sad in his voice acting. I really like the design of ICC, I must say. Like, I was never really a big raider in Wrath, but I did a little bit of ICC. I think I got up to Sourfang, and I think I did this fight, but I didn't beat it with my guild. But yeah, good memories. Turn this pipe, otherwise you'll be annoyed. And the doors will open to Professor Putricide. Now, Putricide, he's, again, another boss where the whole thing with his achievement is ignoring his mechanics. Basically, what you can do is, I believe these potions spawn on the ground, and if you take one, you'll turn into an abomination. And the achievement is for not using the slow that the abomination gives you on the slimes. However, because you don't even need to use the abomination to defeat him at level 100, you can just burst him down. It's completely trivial. So just don't turn into an abomination and you'll definitely get the achievement. And you know what, I'm actually just going to shut up and let you listen to his voice acting, because it's fairly amusing.
Where'd those come from?
Tastes like cherry. Oh, excuse me.
One thing you might notice, however, is that you will attack a lot slower. He does reduce your attack speed and your cast speed by, I believe it's 200%, something like that. So yeah, you might notice that it will take you quite a while to kill him just because of that, but he does so little damage that you can just tank through whatever he throws at you. I know these fights are kind of boring, but it's the Plague Wing for you. It's really fun from a like voice acting point of view, but really boring to solo as level 100 just because it's so easy, which is a shame. Oh well. Lich King's interesting though, I must say. And here he is, the big bad Lich King. Now, the whole idea of his achievement is that you have to stack this plague that he puts on you. But to get the plague is really quite weird. I'll be going over specifically the priest strategy for this. I do this in disc spec, but it can translate to other classes. I've also sped it up by 200% because this is a long fight and I didn't want to have you wait. So what I do as a priest is DPS him down to around 75%, I'd say. You want to get him so that you can easily phase switch him at 70% when you get the 30 stacks. But you don't want to DPS him too much or you might accidentally switch him to the next phase. Once you've done that, stop attacking him and just let him spawn a bunch of minions on you. The idea is that you use these minions to stack up the plague. If you aren't a priest and you don't have some kind of aggro reset, don't attack him. Just walk up to him and let him spawn the minions. The whole idea is that once you've got enough minions, you summon a pet, so Trinket Pet or Shadow Fiend or whatever will work here, and he'll cast Necrotic Plague as you saw there. And then you just stand there and soak up damage whilst Necrotic Plague dances around. Basically, you want to get to 30 stacks, and the way it stacks up is if it's dispelled, it will jump. If it kills the target, it will jump. If it expires on a target, it will also jump. And each jump gives it a stack. So you want to wait till it to get 30 stacks. The way you tell how many stacks it has, because it's a pain in the ass to keep track of because it jumps to all these minions, is keep an eye on Lich King. He'll get a stacking buff whenever the plague jumps. So from that you can basically tell how many stacks you've got on your plague. Once his buff gets to 30 stacks, you want to AoE down the mobs and focus fire him. If the plague jumps to you, it can do a fair amount of damage, so you do want to be careful of that. That's why I went disc spec, is that I can just shield myself from any damage. He'll also cast Infest on you, which will do a fair chunk of damage, but it will go away if you're over 90% HP. So just keep yourself topped up, keep yourself above 90%, and the Infest won't actually damage you, I believe. But this fight is very much a waiting game, hence the name of the achievement. It's been a long time waiting for this, I think it's called. So yeah, I'm just sitting here, popping Shadow Word Healed, not Shadow Word, what? Power Word Shield on myself repeatedly, until he gets to his 30 stacks, and once he gets to his 30 stacks, I'll burst everything down and go on with the fight. There we go. So I've got my 30 stacks, I burst everything down with Holy Nova, and I want to get him to go into the next phase, so I just start attacking him. If the plague goes to you, it will do a lot of damage, so maybe have some kind of purification potion or something to get the plague off you, because it can hurt. Once you got to this phase, what you need to do is DPS him down whilst keeping an eye on these frost orbs. If a frost orb hits you, it will knock you off the platform and kill you. So what you have to do is make sure you kill them before they get to you. They're fairly easy to see, and they do tether to you, so they're not too difficult to find. If you're pretty much anything will kill them, an auto attack or whatever, but you want to do it from range, just in case, because if they touch you, like I said, you'll die, which sucks. But other than that, this fight is really now just a simple tank and spank. He'll summon the Valkyries, but I believe they don't actually interact with you if you're soloing it, because, you know, you're the Soul Aggro holder, they just sort of fly there looking all useless. He'll go into the Frost phase one more time, and like I said before, you really do just have to take care of the Frozen Orbs in order to beat him. His damage is really negligible, and that in and of itself is really quite a shame. It's kind of saddening, I guess, to see these fights declawed to such a huge extent. I guess I'm one of those people who's kind of in favor of legacy raids, just to do this kind of thing properly. And yeah, I realize that you can go in on a bunch of level, what would it be? Level 80s. And do this properly, but it's just not the same. Man, I had to think what the hell level Lich King was for a second there. I've lost track of what was max level when. Yeah, this is interesting. You know how I said he was defanged? His mechanics no longer work. Basically what was meant to happen is that he was meant to insta-kill me and the entire raid there. But his insta-kill now no longer does enough damage to hurt you. Like, my health bar didn't even move there. So, during this whole thing, I'm meant to be dead, and the whole idea is that he's going to raise me up as a member of the undead. But, yeah. Game mechanics seem to have ruined that a little bit. I'm ruining the RP, guys, dancing around, but yeah, it's a really cool fight with Lich King, and even now, it's still cool to do it. You do get the Kingslayer achievement from beating him, which is really nice. Sorry, title, not achievement. So yeah, I mean, it's still a cool fight to do, and it's one of those achievements that, actually, because it's an achievement you have to think about, not too many people have it. It's not one of those mindless achievements that everybody gets, like, beat the boss within 10 minutes, because, let's face it, you can solo that easily. But yeah, fairly nice fight, and now you beat him. You can actually DPS him down to 1 HP outside of this little event, but he does need to be in this event for you to kill him, I believe. Otherwise, I think it can bug out, so be careful. And we get the achievement. And that's it for this week's episode. Next week, I'm going to basically go through the raid in 25-man and mop up any bosses that need special tactics in order to actually beat them in 25-man heroic mode solo. So any bosses that are a simple tank and spank, I'm going to leave it out. And any bosses that I think you'll like, you need to do something special or maybe even a bit cheesy, I'll go over in detail. I hope you guys look forward to it. Please let me know what you think about these videos in the comment section below. Feel free to like, dislike, subscribe, whatever you want. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next week. Bye!